Okay, everyone, welcome to today's show. Today we're going to kind of try and challenge that ordinary thinking about money, about success, and indeed wealth creation. That's a wealth creation show. And I think what we've covered before, and we're going to emphasize today, it's not always about getting rich. And I think that's what a lot of people think when they hear, oh, the wealth creation show, it's about getting rich. And I think it's more about, well, I know it's more about thinking bigger, building things smartly, and becoming better at yourself.
I think
And
everybody just wants to get rich, though, don't they?
well, yeah, I mean that is a big part of it. But I think
We're trying to
lot.
convince people. You think about it. We're trying to convince people it's about strategy, it's about mindset, it's about all these different things, real life lessons, help you elevate your financial life. And it's like,
Yeah.
but the reality is, people just deep down they just want to be rich.
Yeah, I mean, I think
their wildest dreams, as Robbie Williams used to say.
Yeah, it does come down to money. But as you've explained to us a lot of the time, Jim, do you know, with your own journey and things, there's so much you need to do in preparation to actually obtain or make that money.
You've got to be almost that person already. So in order to become the person you want to be, you have to be that person already.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that makes sense to a lot of people. It's if you were if you want to be a financial controller, in other words, an accountant, in charge, financial director, qualified accountant, if you wanted to be that, what do you think you'd have to do to be a qualified accountant? You'd have to sit exams. You'd have to go to, have to learn more about it, sit exams, and then you would have to pass the professional exams, which takes about 7 years from start to finish, just to get to that. And then you would then have to work in industry at the same time and actually be promoted to that level of financial director. Because you won't, just because you pass these exams, it doesn't mean to say you'll be slingshot straight into that position at financial director. That's impossible. You've got to do your due. You've got to do your dues and pay your price and all the rest of it beforehand. That's why a lot of people actually say in the very, very beginning, it's all about what they did. They started off in the mailroom, they worked their way up, and the next minute, like 20 years later, they're now in charge of the company. But they did a whole load of things in between. They learned and they studied and they became a people person and all the rest of it. So they did all that. They grew with the position, they grew with the company, and they evolved themselves. They never just stayed the same. You have to, in order to be something you're not, because if you were that already, you'd be that.
Yeah.
If you were like, I'm a millionaire. Well, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the wealth?
Million. Yeah.
It's like, you have to be that person. You have to imitate that person. You have to think what they would do. This is why it comes back to saying, I've often said to this, it's like, well, what would Alan Sugar do in this situation? What would Warren Buffett do in this situation? What would Richard Branson do in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
What would they all do in this situation? I think that's the most important thing, definitely. So just come and visit me.
I was just going to say, I thought
she's decided she was lying there in her bed. She's decided she's come to see me. All right, she's standing on the keyboard. Whoa!
So I think that what you're trying to say is, if you want to be something or be somebody, like you say, a financial controller, or you want to be the manager, or you want to be the boss, but you're not at that position now, have that mindset of that person and think, right, what would they do, or what have they done to get there, and start doing that. And that's where it all kind of falls into the topic. I mean, I've titled today's show called Raising the Bar.
So then what is it? What does raising the bar actually mean then, Richard?
So I think when we say raising the bar, we're talking about setting higher standards for yourself. And that's all about that mindset, right? I need to do the X, Y, and Z.
Look at the high jumper. When you think about it, every time they raise the bar and they jump higher, it's kind of, that's probably where it comes from.
Yeah, it does. When I was looking at it, that's where raising the bar comes from, because you're putting it up that little bit higher, and bettering yourself every time to get over it. Most people, they do aim for comfort. It's so easy to stay in your comfort zone, but comfort rarely creates wealth. Do you know, your growth does. we spoke about that last week, growing out with your earning and things. That growth is how you propel yourself, not by sitting in your comfort zone.
So what do people need to ask themselves today? What are the questions?
I would say ask yourself, are you playing small? You're playing small. Are you avoiding risks and staying in your comfort zone? And are you settling for an average, a mediocre comfort level?
Okay.
And if the answer
is small, absolutely not. Am I avoiding risks? Absolutely not. Am I settling for average? Absolutely not.
And if you answer any of those questions, yes, then you need to really reevaluate if you're wanting to be successful in your own right.
Am I going diving in Egypt? Absolutely yes. But hey, there you go. What does that tell you straight away? It's like, yeah, let's go diving in Egypt. Okay. It's like that allows you to do that.
Your diving journey actually is quite a good one to use as comparison for raising the bar. I mean, was it 2 years ago? Not even, maybe. And
a standing start from no experience in diving to master scuba diver, which is the highest amateur award you can get from PADI, the Professional Divers Association. It took me just a year to do that, and I did about 90 dives in that time as well at the same time in a year. So that's 2 every single week. That's and people and I'm like, this is just normal, is it? No, and folk are going, no, it's not. It's like, and see what I mean about sometimes you don't really want to know what the rules are of the game, because it allows you then to just go at your own speed, and then you turn around and go, where's everybody else? It's like you're way ahead of them.
And in reality, if you had listened to possibly some diving trainers and things and followed a curriculum kind of to their rules, you maybe wouldn't be as far on as what you are just now. In fact, you wouldn't.
Well, one of the diving trainers said to me, you need to get loads and loads of dives in. Right. Where my other trainer, who my trainer is, my actual trainer in Scotland, he said, why would you not just do the exams at the same time as the diving and just get the exams out of the way? Because you're not really qualified as a PADI diver as such. You're qualified in theory, academic, but you're not qualified in practice. Kind of sounds like the government with commercial acumen, doesn't it? They're all academics.
Yeah.
No commercial acumen experience at all.
Yeah,
just saying. I'm only stating a fact here.
Just slide that in there, John.
But it's, when you do think about it, it is a lot to do with that, isn't it? Because I remember some of the most experienced, like 10,000 dives and stuff like that, instructors saying to me, it's like, when I say, oh, I'm an advanced diver, or somebody comes in and says, oh, I'm an advanced diver, how many dives you done? Oh, about 5. Well, you're not exactly an advanced diver now, because you've only done 5 dives. You've really got to get a lot of experience over time. And that does take time to do that. So yes, in theory and in practice, I am what you would call a master scuba diver. Rescue diver is the highest award in amateur. But you have to work towards that. So it's like, and it's all these things you need to do to raise that bar. So when we come back to saying about raising the bar, then and what it means, what does it mean in terms of development, in terms of your job, in terms of everything else?
I think the best thing to think about is think about thinking outside and beyond just your salary or your paycheck. Now, we're never saying, we're not saying give up your day job, but always have this, develop multiple income streams. Now, I don't mean diversify yourself and try and do loads of different things. Always have your core income, and then have a side hustle, whether that be property, whether that be, investments and things, and look to invest rather than just saving. And that's a big thing that a lot of people make the mistake with. They think, I'll just save. When really you could make your money work a lot better by investing it than having it sit in savings.
Building skills that can make you more valuable.
And
now, let me explain to you what this was. Thinking beyond my paycheck, okay, my salary. I then started investing in the property business. I started off in network marketing, which was like I got to a wee bit of leadership level. I started getting royalties and stuff like that from the company, but it didn't really take off. But I met my mentors, and then I used that same mentality that they taught me and applied it to property investment, because I kind of saw that as the thing for me to set me free. Like writing a book, you put somebody in a property, you earn money, you get somebody to manage it, job done. It's you're hands off in that situation when you get a person to manage it. I did manage it myself in the beginning, so I was pretty hands-on. Developed multiple income streams. Well, I had my salary, and then I had my property business, but I didn't. I had multiple income, but I just kept reinvesting that property business. I never really took it out at all, and I put more from my salary into the property business as well. I didn't invest in a pension at the beginning, although my companies did that I worked for. Investing, not just saving. Well, I've just said it. Building skills that make you more valuable. Well, I trained as I went back to college, and I trained as an accountant. I started off in business computer studies, national certificate, see what I would like. I didn't want to be an accountant. I just thought business studies, computer studies, really, computer studies was probably my thing. I liked that. And then I decided, it's like, wow, I love accounts. Accounts is great. I love it. So I got an opportunity out of the three disciplines, the business and the computers and the accounts, to core studying accounts, which I did. So I built my skills and became more valuable. I sat my professional exams at the same time as I was studying, and also I was working, and as well as later on building buy-to-let business as well. So see how you become more valuable. Hence the reason why I accelerated quite quickly to a financial director, and accelerated quite quickly from a standard start to retirement at 38-year-old. And that's because I applied this. So wealth creation actually begins in the mind before it shows up in your bank account.
Yeah.
I'll say that again. Wealth creation begins in your mind before it actually shows up in your bank account. You've got to dream it before you can believe it, and then you've got to apply it, and then it will happen.
I was just going to say, apply it. It's so important.
Dogged determination. So let's break this down into 3 pillars that we can discuss then. The first pillar is probably mindset.
Okay.
The second pillar is probably strategy.
Yep.
And the third pillar is execution. Definitely. You can't just think something into existence. Oh, I'm thinking about it so much, it's going to manifest itself. No, you've got to do something. I mean, if I sat in the house and just thought about it and thought about it and thought about it and hoped it was going to manifest itself, nothing's going to turn up because I'm sitting in the house. I'm not doing anything. So that's the most important thing. So then, that then says to me, where do we start? Right.
Mindset.
Richard, what you got to say about pillar 1 then? The wealth mindset. Yeah,
wealth mindset. I mean, most people never become wealthy because their mindset is wired to survival. It's not abundance. So there are 3 simple mindset shifts that you can make. And first off, it's changing your mindset from being a consumer to being an investor. So what does that mean? Well, ask yourself, am I buying things to make me poorer or investing in things to make me richer? Are you spending on things that really aren't going to benefit you, or are you investing in things that are generating more income?
Yeah. Now, this isn't about becoming totally what we would call anal about the whole thing. And it's like, oh, I've got to invest all my money in everything. I've got to suffer. I've got to sacrifice. I've got to do everything else. No, we're not advocating that. I did personally, and Elaine did personally as well, and that's why we are where we are so quick. So, but it's whatever price you want to pay. But I tell you what, if you don't pay some sort of price, you're going to get a shock when you get the invoice from the regret. When you get the invoice from regret for not doing what you've do in the early days, it's like you're going to get that shock. It's like people investing in their pensions. If you invest very early, the compounding effect will take you to meteoric heights in terms of what you get at the end. If you keep putting off and putting off and putting off, you're going to sit and regret it at the end of it. And you can't go back and change it.
Do you know, on a smaller scale, you're right. Do you know, I remember when I left school and college and things, and then when I worked in a factory and things, and it was quite a good salary, I think, but at that time I was so young, never thought about saving or anything like that, and just when I look back now, I'm like, God, I just should have put money aside, and had, because when I then kind of got a bit older, then realised this is what I need to be doing, and I've even developed on that further. But if you could tell your younger self, so you don't want to get really like to your retirement age and think, God, I should have done that then. So yeah, the regret thing.
No one teaches you this at school, at
No.
primary, or anything like that. They don't talk about investing. They don't talk about, you know, putting away something for the future, like the squirrel does.
Yeah.
You know, with the nuts and everything for winter and looking after themselves. They should maybe use that as an analogy for the younger generation.
The
About
Bank of
putting something
Scotland
away
used
in
to have
order
this,
for
like a
yeah, in
squirrel
order for
sail on
when
the
tough times happen. I mean, well, and that reminds me of the things that tough times will come, but tough people will last. That's it.
Yeah.
So you're right, consumer to investor.
Yeah.
Am I buying things to make me poorer, or investing in things that make me richer? That's it. Your Gucci handbag will maybe make you feel good for a wee while, and it maybe make you look good in front of everybody else. But the reality is, look at the cost. How much did it cost you? What could you have done with that money?
£2,000 or something for a bag. That's ridiculous. I mean, I just couldn't do that.
Now, this is a controversial one, because the second one that you talk about here is about from employee thinking to owner thinking.
Yeah.
And personally, for me, I think every employee should think like they own the company, even though they don't. Because what will happen at some point in time is, if you have that attitude and you treat it like you own it, you'll probably end up accelerating in your career. You'll get promoted. Yeah. But you'll also probably end up becoming an owner at some point in time in the future, because they will see value in you by what you're doing. Now, I'm not advocating for the fact that, oh, you want to take over the company and you want to do everything. No, but when in your bit, what can you do in your position in the job that you're doing? Can you make it more efficient? Can you make it more enjoyable? Can you work with other teams to be more beneficial? All these different things, and just in your job. Oh, but I only work I clean the toilets. It's like,
yeah. Just going to say, regardless of whether you're the cleaner,
be the best toilet cleaner ever.
Be the best.
Be the best toilet cleaner ever. Be the best cleaner ever. Think about, how can you do it more productively? How could you make it better for the people you're working for, to make it a better experience? When is the toilet you're going to put air fresheners in? Are you going to put better lighting in? Are you going to ask for better lighting to make it more to make it easier for people to see in the mirror and stuff like that? Are you going to make sure the floor is cleaner all the time? Because some of the toilets are actually, excuse the phrase, bogging.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah.
So think about that. That's me just using it as a basic example, so people understand from the core what it's like. So even if you work in a job, think like an owner. Solve these problems, build systems or whatever that can, whatever it is, and think long term. Think like long term. It's like, I'm going to be here forever, so that's fine. Don't be despondent about that. Oh, I'm going to be here forever. It's like, no, I'm going to be in with the bricks, and I'm going to make myself so valuable that if it ever comes to redundancies, they will never think of me.
Yeah.
In a downturn.
And that
I am so valuable to the company.
Job security as well, because you've made yourself so valuable.
Exactly. There are loads of people who will be shouting at the screen now going, there's nothing such as job security. There is. If you're so valuable, even though whoever you're working for says that we can't afford to keep you because we've gassed it, somebody else has gassed it with the sales and everything like that, and that's fallen on you because you're not required that much anymore, you'll walk straight into another job easily. Even in tough times, because they will never last tough times, and you're always valuable to someone else. It's like what I say, it doesn't matter what any point in time, if somebody shows added value to what we do or what I do, I'll have them on board in a heartbeat. I'll create a job for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then I think the third one that comes to mind with me, especially when I think about it, is the mindset is your fear. Your fear is such a big part of your mindset that can hold you back. So take yourself from fear to making calculated risks. Now, that's not, Monte Carlo or bus risks. Every wealthy person does take risks, but they're not reckless risks. They're calculated risks, and really ones that they've thought about.
Most wealthy people actually stay really wealthy. Calculate the downside. They play at the downside first to say, how bad could this get? And at what point would I offload whatever I'm doing or stop whatever I'm doing if it got to that stage, so I can protect every other asset I've got? That's what they do.
Yeah, but the worst case scenario type thing.
If you've got,
where would I be?
I know an organisation, you know, a non-profit organisation. I had about
Mhm.
300,000 in the bank, and I went, well, you could afford to fight this with the government on our behalf. It was the Landlord Association, and he said, I would never risk a fight with the government because they've got deep pockets.
I was just going to say they'll just totally deplete them.
And they know exactly what we've got, and they'll just wipe us out completely. Now,
Yeah.
I've seen that happen to the National Landlord Association. That's how now they've merged with the National Residential Landlord Association, and now the NRFL. They are. So they're a merged organisation because of that. So remember this. Wealth does follow courage, clarity, and most of all, consistency.
Consistency is a big one,
Just be consistent. That's printing money. Boring pays well. It is. Yeah. It's definitely boring. But that's how you print money. You do the same thing all the time. McDonald's. Once you get the system formalised, all you do is tweak it now and again. I tell you what, we'll introduce a chicken spicy burger as a special. We'll put wee toys in with the other things to get the kids to buy the wee. So that, hey, that is a systemised system, and that's what you do. What is the next one we've got to think about then?
That next pillar that you say is the wealth strategy, and this is where consistency really comes into play. And mindset is important, but without strategy, it's just motivation. So the 4 proven wealth building strategies, you earn more, to increase your income. So how do you do that? You would ask. Upgrade your skills, learn, build your knowledge, read books, listen to people that are more successful than you. Start a side business, as you said, Jim. You had back in the beginning, you had your salary, and you started building your property business on the side as your side business, side hustle.
I could see a lot of people actually saying it's like earn more. Easy for you to say.
Anybody could do it.
But again, I come back to saying, if I could start from homeless, unemployed, and get to where I am right now, it's like, how could anybody turn around and say, oh, it's no easy to earn more? Of course it is. There's always opportunities out there, but you've just got to be prepared to do the thing that you've got to do at that point in time. Are you prepared? And this is the one I always measure my people on to a degree. I don't measure I'm probably a notification of their character and how hungry they are. Are you prepared to clean the toilets for someone? Are you prepared to wash the windows for someone? Or have you got so much status in your life? In other words, oh, I can't do something like that. It's like, I'm an accountant, It's like, I couldn't give a shit.
Sometimes have a wee bit too much self-importance.
Of course, because that's what we do to ourselves. We build ourselves up and we give ourselves status in the community. And people think it's status is for some people it's be all and end all. It is the original Instagram, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, look at me, look what I've done, and there's all my things. My Ferraris and my Rolls Royces and my Porsches and my big massive country house and all the rest of it. And it's like, I couldn't care less. Status does not pay the bills. Status costs money as far as I'm concerned. So there is ways to do that as side hustles. There's always there's always things like, back in my day, it was like Clean Easy and stuff like that. People would go around the doors, put pamphlets or leaflets through your doors. They'd come and pick up what your order was. They'd deliver it a few days later, and you would pay them. Nowadays, it's called Amazon. It basically stole that market because they found out another way to do it. But you can do affiliate marketing with Amazon. You can do affiliate marketing. Yeah, so you can do affiliate marketing with Amazon. You could sell on eBay as well. You can take people's old stuff and you could be the in between and you could sell it on. So you could buy it at a lower price and you could sell it at a higher price. All these different things. You can go to your boss and ask for a promotion, or you could say to your boss, if you're uncomfortable with asking for a promotion, you just say, I really want to be better at what I do. I really want a job. it gives me more tasks and gives me more responsibility. Is there anything like that? Is there anything I can do right now? This is a really good one to say. Is there anything I can do right now in order to be able to grow into that position with the company? See that? That's a nice way of saying it, without actually saying, could you give me a pay rise? Because it just becomes confrontational then. And then they turn around and say, well, you're just doing your job. That's it, really.
Yeah.
So
whereas they'll come back and say, right, well, you can do this and do this, and
if you do that, and if you do this and you do that, we think there'll be a position for you later on, once you've actually got through all these stages. Any growing business will actually applaud you for that, and they will look to promote you eventually anyway through that. Offer high value services.
Offer and deliver as well, I think.
Instead of being, I mean, there's a real opportunity in the marketplace. I mean, I know it's really, it's a bit rife with all the different delivery carriers and all the rest of it, like DPD and everything like that. And I know what their systems are like, and some of them are actually appalling. But these people actually are independent contractors that work with DPD, and they work for themselves. So if you deliver and you are able to give a far better service, then you're more likely to be given more work from DPD, and then more likely, possibly, or a franchise organization, and possibly you might then be able to employ other people to work with you in your individual company. You work with that organization. See how that works?
Yeah.
So you become, and that's how independent estate agents like me, when I first start, it's like, yeah, let's get started. It's just me. And it's like, let's get people in the door. Let's recruit people. Let's get business on. Our business is growing bigger. We need more people. Let's recruit them to help us out. Business is getting a bit bigger. And it's like, and making sure the numbers make sense, not actually just doing it for the sake of doing it. Not actually just saying, I tell you what, I'll just sell everything. I'll just do everything as cheap as chips and hope that loads of people. And I mean, there's a real great saying here, and I actually wrote it down. Just before I came on here, actually.
Okay.
Where's it? I can find it. Here we go. Either sell extremely expensive to a select few, or sell something super cheap to everyone. The middle is where people die.
Yeah.
Straight away, nailed it. Alex Hormuzzi actually said that. I saw it on his thing and I went, wow. And it's true. You either sell something super expensive to a select few of people who want it as a niche, because that's what will be that market, or you sell something super cheap, volume. Richard Branson, Alan Sugar. Alan Sugar, Amstrad, super cheap to the masses, and that's how he made his billion. That's how Alan Sugar made it, because he realized. I mean, he's a wheeling dealer. That's where he comes from. That's his background. I think it was he was selling coat hangers out of his van at one point when he first started. Just coat hangers, like a barrel boy sort of thing. And that's how he started. Look at him now. How long did it take him to get there, though? 60 years or something like that.
That's what I was thinking when you said that. When I started talking about, obviously, point one was earn more, and you said people watching might think, "Oh, easy for you to say," but then you're saying that at the other side of a 30 odd year journey.
40.
Well, that's what I knew.
30 is in property investment. 40 is
the entire journey.
It's like about 18, 19 years old. I need to do something different, and then they all began.
Started turning about where you wanted to be and who you wanted to be.
Yeah, so the first one is definitely earning income, and we've given you enough an idea about how to go about that, how to do that, and even if what you're about to try doesn't fail, if it fails, you've probably learned so much out of it for the next time you get involved in something else, or you find another opportunity, and then you think, okay, this is what I need to do this time. Sometimes the failure is it teaches you more than the actual success. You know, if you get the success, it's like, well, what happened?
How did I get here?
What happened there? How did I get here? Whereas if you get loads and loads of failure, it's like, and you manage to survive through that, which is what you should do, because it does teach a lot. It teaches you a huge amount of lessons that you can use for when you actually definitely do get that opportunity. It flies.
Yeah.
And think about it. It's like playing roulette. At some point, if you keep playing, you'll win. You keep failing at some point, but at some point, and if you're savvy enough and your bets are done right, then you might possibly win. I mean, the house always wins in terms of that, but I'm kind of trying to give you an analogy to see what it's like. What is the second one we've got to think about in this pillar 2, which is the wealth strategy?
Well, it's definitely saving intentionally. Do you know, save with intent. Consistency again comes in here. It's not just whatever's left over in the month that you should be saving. You should have a plan. Plan that, you know, like as a percentage of like this is what, and consistently do that.
So I'll guarantee you, I'll give you the formula here how to do this, how to save intentionally, and how to be super wealthy at the end of it. Instead of getting your salary and going, okay, what I need to spend, and then have I got anything left to save? That's what poor people do, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're skint, that's what you're doing. Instead of doing that, immediately when you get your paycheck in, you go, okay, what's gone away to savings? And then what have I got left to spend?
Yeah.
It's just the other way around. It's just that mindset shift. So what sort of plan percentage should we actually be doing? What do most people teach? What do these gurus teach? I mean, you kind of know it.
Yeah, the three thing is obviously like you're looking around 50% of your, your needs, and that's things like your mortgage or your rent and your food and your utilities and all these are all needs to keep yourself going. Say maybe 30% for your wants, for taking the family places and doing things like that. These are things you can sacrifice, but about 30%, and then 20% savings, investments, and stick to that religiously. You could do a little bit more, never do less, because as soon as you start eating away at that, I'll not do it this month because I'm going to go do this. That's when you break the consistent trend.
It has to be automated.
Yeah.
It has to be an automatic deduction and straight into another account, so you do not see that amount of money. It has to be, just like your mortgage. If you've got a mortgage on a house, if you've got a car payment as well, they're always automated. Why do you think they always automate it? Because they know fine that 1 month you might actually no pay it because you'll go, oh, I need it for something else. But you don't really need it for something else. It's like you need it for something you want rather than what you need.
Yeah.
So it's like we talk about this all the time. It's usually when you've got a problem with people no paying their rent. It's usually Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, that December, January.
First thing people think about, the kids, like presents, things like that. And I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but that's what happened because it's not automated. It's just like something really thing comes up, it pulls you and says, okay, well, I'll just miss out this month. Once you miss out, you've had it.
Yeah.
So you have to automate it, definitely. So yeah, I actually, 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and the 20% has to come first as savings and investments straight away before you do anything.
Yeah, savings and investments, and then if you're keeping that aside, then it's the next thing it brings us on to is investing wisely. So your money really needs to work for you, and then that's things like we've already covered, property and stocks and investing in maybe businesses or probably funds and things as well.
I would say for most people, pension.
Yeah.
It is boring as hell, I've got to say, but for most people, I would say you maybe aren't going to run your own business. You maybe aren't going to be able to have the acumen because, no, everybody's got the commercial acumen or the understanding or the desire to keep doing all these things. But someday it is just, I mean, there's loads of examples of a janitor or a cleaner that retired like a millionaire because they just put like 20% of their savings away when they first started. That was it, really. and they did nothing else. They just led a normal life like everybody else. They went on, you know, for the weekend. They went out and holidays now and again. Nothing extravagant. They were just what most people would say is like, yeah, it's just normal. Nothing exciting about their life at all, according to everybody else. But they ended up a millionaire, multi-millionaire, some of them, and only because they put away money. Look at Harv Eker. I think it was on Shark Tank. He talks about his grandmother that taught him how to save and invest as a young boy. And his grandmother says, if you put away and compound and all the rest of it, it'll be a huge amount at the end of it. And that's where he got all his thought and his thought process from and everything. Mm-hmm. So that's the sort of things you want to do. You just let time and compound and do all that work for you. Yeah. The things about pensions is watch out for your charges. Your charges on a pension should be anything up to 1%. Or just a wee bit more. But if you've got anything more, then I think that's overcharging for a pension fund on your assets. You shouldn't be charging for you putting money in. It's only on what the value is, and normal pensions anyway. I mean, I've got Standard Life UK equities, and I've had it for I don't know how long. I transferred all my company pensions into that from previous companies. I transferred them in because it made sense for me. We transferred the Lane's pension out into a private pension because if anything happened to Lane, our pension disappears.
Yeah,
and it's like nobody gets it. And yet we've now got a private pension. Anything happens to Lane, our pension gets passed on to me or to the kids. The value. So it makes sense actually for us to do that. So that's what we do with pensions, and we do invest in stocks in our pensions. We love UK equities, blue chip stocks, Diageo, Glencore, all the rest of it. These blue chip stocks have paid dividends all the time. We don't take the money out; it gets reinvested back in. Property is our thing for definite. I love property. I think property set me free. And I knew it was just like, this is just like Monopoly, and it's a wee bit more complicated form. You buy a property, you put somebody in, and you collect rent, and then you just need to make sure. And I combined this with, he's not the flavour of the month, Philip Green. He's never the flavour of the year now because of what he did with the pension fund, Arcadia. But I remember him saying, it's like the shops are there only really to, the business is there only really to pay for the real estate and to keep the real estate going. So I am my own tenant, he said. And I've heard other people say that as well. I've got mass empires. I am my own tenant in my own premises, and I own the premises through a different company. And that company collects rent from my other company, and it grows in wealth over time. And that's where I compound. So the businesses are there just to feed that company, if that makes sense, but also make a profit as well and expand and get more real estate. McDonald's, they're not in the business of making hamburgers. They're in the business of real estate. They say it in their brochure. The McDonald's AGM is the real estate business. How well is our real estate doing? Not how well is our burgers doing, it's how well is our real estate business doing. That's it. So that tells you everything. These people have real estate. Businesses as well. Businesses are so essential. And then you've got mutual funds. Mutual funds is things like, it's just a combination of stocks put together. It's probably low risk. In order to minimize your risk, but it's probably got a better return than everybody else. So you can have a combination there. So it goes from stocks to property to businesses to mutual funds, and it's like high risk to low risk in terms of how it is. I don't see it as a risk, to be honest. But I'm a person who's like, I couldn't care less if I lose it all. It wouldn't make a job to me. It wouldn't make any difference. And my lifestyle would change, obviously, but who cares? But you would just start again. I just love the journey. Yeah, I just love the journey. But I'm being scrappy enough to be able to be able to understand and be able to learn to keep the money and build the money and make more money on the money. The fourth one is just before we move on to the next pillar, which is build multiple income streams, from it. So money from your job, money from your investments, money in your pension fund, and what else is there?
Yeah, I mean, that one paycheck, we spoke about this previously. If you're just living on one paycheck and that's it, if you lose your job, I mean, you could be done with in little as, what was it, 60 days or something we spoke about? I mean,
Yeah.
that's 2 months, you're done.
You lose your job. Yes, most people can't afford to keep going for that period of time without any money. But more importantly, you could lose your job out of no fault of your own, purely for the fact that you might have had an accident and nobody was covered with insurance, and your ability to perform is now compromised. You might be a surgeon and you're working at the weekend and you put a chisel through your hand.
Yeah.
That's you had it. You're not able to do surgery. Unless you've got insurance to cover you, or you've got some sort of glorious, fantastic pay package that covers you in that incident, you won't be able to work. A pilot, if you don't pass the fitness exam, you're no longer a pilot. You're out. You're grounded.
I wonder if, you know, surgeons and things, I wonder if they do actually intentionally don't do DIY.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but they've all got insurance. I've no doubt about that. So one paycheck's a risk, and it's to me it's a small risk if you're valuable in terms of what you do. 2 or 3 streams create a security. You're comfortable at the fact, but it creates a security because you're not relying on another 2 just now. If you start relying on the 3 income streams, if you've got 3 of them, and you start spending them, you're broke at a different level.
Yeah.
In other words, all your outgoings is reliant on these 3. So you've been as well just back at one paycheck again, because that's what it is. You're taking a huge risk. It's like you've got something growing in the background. It could step in and compensate for the fact that you lose one other income stream. That's why people put their money in bonds, which is low risk, and stocks and shares, and then in overseas stocks and shares, and then in things like crypto, and they put a mix in. So if one goes down, they'll get the benefit of the other, and over a long period of time, it smooths everything out. What about then the pillar 3, execution?
Yeah, the execution. I mean, execution is really where your dreams then meet the reality of things. And you could really start before. I mean, there's 3 different sections of execution that we could break it down into. And firstly, starting before you're ready. Now, what does that mean? I mean, perfection kills your process. Jim, we've had this conversation a few times.
Yeah, you know, done is better than perfect.
Yeah, trying to perfect something rather than just getting it done is such a killer.
Look at the amount of people that come on Dragon's Den. Like, they've got the perfect product, or they think, and then the Dragons go, how much do you put into that? Well, in order to get it perfect, it cost me 600,000 in my own money. And I'll go, what?
Rather than just putting together some prototype.
You could have just launched it in its prototype, and people would have bought it, and then you could have just developed it into the right thing that you wanted before that. But guess what? Nobody wants your product anymore.
Yeah. It's like iPhone, we're on iPhone, whatever it is. I mean, I don't use iPhone, but
iPhone 20 million or something like that.
Yeah, but they keep changing it and upgrading it and upgrading it. And people laugh at that. You look at the original.
There's all these people out there that want the latest in terms of what they're doing, and they know that well.
Yeah.
As soon as you buy something like that, I'll be honest, it's obsolete. Because you'll never buy it. Think about it. You'll never buy an iPhone or a Samsung, latest model, and then just resell it for the same price, will you?
No, never.
No, it loses value straight away as soon as you buy it.
But if they had spent time trying to perfect the iPhone in the first place, the market would have moved on.
Why do you think I buy second-hand ones? I buy all the ones that all the blooming people have wasted their money on. It's like they've sent it back after about 3 months use and gone, oh, I just want to trade it for another one, and I'll buy the trade, and it's like half the price.
But yeah, perfection killing progress is definitely a big one. Don't try and perfect things. Done is better than perfect, as you say, Jim. And actions create results rather than the procrastination about perfection.
Let's get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then that brings us on to, again, being consistent. And wealth is built, as we've pointed out quite clearly, daily, not overnight. It compounds day over day with your consistency of applying yourself towards what you're doing, not some overnight success and money-making scheme. you know this get rich?
I read that
quick
differently when you said not overnight, because I went, I go to my bed and actually wake up welfare in the morning.
but that's because you've already got everything in
So it
place
does
to do
build up
that.
overnight.
But you spent a lot of time getting that to do that.
I had 4 properties somewhere. You'll know where they are in Kirkcaldy. Altogether, I bought, and I recently actually transferred them at my company. And 2 years ago, they were £67,000. So I did that, and I saw the other day they've actually gone up to, one's actually just sold the exact same type and style and inside and everything, same fittings and everything, for 85 grand.
That's crazy.
So I've literally made 80 grand.
Yeah.
And I never knew.
Yeah, so that's 20 on each one. Yeah,
that is mental when you think about it. But that's how it works. It's like, if you long term invest, I mean, it's not going to happen that for everybody, because some of the properties might have dropped. You never know.
Well, I suppose that falls in. We're going to move on and just talk about quickly about tracking your progress is number 3. I mean, that's an example of tracking the progress of obviously your asset and things. I mean, what gets measured can then get improved.
Stephen Brown says that all the time, eh? What gets measured gets improved, or what gets diarized gets done.
What gets done, what gets scheduled gets done.
What gets scheduled gets done. That's what he uses, and it's so true. It's like, unless you make a commitment to something, you'll never do it, and it is so easy just to fall by the wayside. So these are the things that I would personally say, ask yourself on a weekly basis, even probably a daily basis. Did I earn more? Did I save or invest? Did I learn something new at all? I learn every single day. Did I earn more? Absolutely. Did I save? Absolutely. Did I invest? Absolutely. This is daily for me.
Yeah.
Did I learn something new? Absolutely. Again, Tim Spector this morning talks about gut health and how apparently, this is actually quite interesting. Yeah. Did I learn something new? Out of everybody in the whole of the world, or in Britain, for example, in America, right? 90% of people don't have a protein deficiency. So all this advertising about protein in their products is bullshit. Okay? What was the thing I talked about the most recently? Is what everybody will have a deficiency. He just confirmed it this morning on the podcast, Diary of a CEO, and he said 90% of people in the world have a fiber deficiency. Fiber is essential for your large intestine, because that's where all the wee microbes are, and the wee you've got, and they love fiber. They want to munch on fiber. They're all the good things for your gut, and they need fiber. 90% of people have a fiber deficiency. And fiber is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And what happens is these microbes are the ones that protect you, and it actually reduces your chance of Parkinson's. It's been proven. It's been proven. Flossing your teeth reduces your chance of Parkinson's by 28%. Flossing your teeth, because the microbes between your teeth are actually bad.
Right, I see.
And he says, if you do that every single, honestly, this is research that's been done. So this is why you want to learn something new every day. Apparently, America says low-fat diets are the worst thing ever now. They've changed. If you see something that says, if you see something on a product that says low-fat, you run for the hills, because there's been ultra-processing involved in doing something with that. Normally, it's replaced with sugar. You run for the hills. You do not touch that product. America's turned on its head completely and decided low-fat is not the way to go.
This is the book that I'm looking at just now. Ultra-processed people.
Yep.
And things like, and do you know what's interesting? Is bread and cereal are the most ultra-processed foods. I didn't realise that. I mean, I think
especially white bread.
Yeah, bread was.
The only thing white bread's got in it is things to make it last longer, and things to make your gut and make you think when it gets to your stomach and that, and your brain, it's actually ultra tasty, and you've got to eat more of it. When in actual fact, it isn't at all. It's all chemicals put in to make you think that. But see what I mean about the things. This is just not when you
learning
talk
new
about raising
things.
the bar. I'm not talking about raising bar in terms of money as well. I'm talking about raising bar in terms of your health and your lifestyle and also your longevity. You're going to lie on your deathbed one day and you're never going to say to yourself, I wish I had more money. You're always going to say to yourself, I wish I had more time.
Yeah. And people might think, oh, you're talking about learning something new and then talking about fiber and your diet, and how is that going to be relevant? Well, if you're not healthy enough to create wealth and enjoy it, then it is really relevant.
It is so important, Richard. So important. So this is what it is. So let's then take us on then to talk about I mean, this is real talk moment we're in. I mean, here's the truth. Most people avoid.
Yeah.
No one's coming to save you with your finances. Your wealth is your own responsibility. It's not the government's. It's not your mum and dad. It's no one except your responsibility. And your future is in your hands. Now, that excites me, that phrase. Some people, that'll terrify them. And the reason for that is because your future depends on the choices you make every day. And some people don't make the right choices. Do you? That person that's listening right now, come on, admit it to yourself. Stick something in the comments and tell us you don't make the right choices, do you? I've done it. I've been there. And I still sometimes do that. 1 o'clock in the morning in Edinburgh, at the weekend, I decided to go, oh, God, I could smell chips.
I knew you were going to say chips.
And it's like, my God. And did I pay for that? And sleep deprivation, got up the next day, sluggish, all the rest of it. Because I thought, I justified it because I thought, I can get carbs. That will help me run and get energy. And it's like, no, it didn't. So even I do it. Your future depends on the choices you make today. So raise your standards and raise your expectations of yourself. That is the most important thing. What I mean, Richard, what other things that could you add to this? Real life examples that,
I was just going to say that, do you know, the truthful thing? If people are jumping in the comments here, maybe be truthful. I mean, do you make the right choices today for your future self? 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be no, I don't always make the right choices. But if you can't be honest with yourself and say, right, like you're saying, even on Saturday night there, you had chips and thought, and that wasn't the right choice, but you done it. But as long as you could acknowledge that and be truthful with yourself, it allows you to move on.
It's interesting you said if somebody's jumping in the comments. If you're jumping in the comments and saying something right now to us, you've been watching 52 minutes of this.
Yeah.
Congratulations. There is something up there that's telling you, I need to change. I need to change. I need to do something different. I need to find out the answers about why, how and why and where I can do this. And that's that, congratulations. That's exactly where you should be. Because 95% of you'll not get this far. You won't be tuning in. You'll have decided to go away. It's like you want to go doing something. I don't know what it is, but pubs open maybe at 11 o'clock, whatever that is. These sort of things. That's what separates you from somebody that's successful, by the habits and the actions that you take. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's the habits you develop and the actions you take that separates you from somebody that's super wealthy and somebody that's, reasonably wealthy and somebody that's reasonably healthy as well, to someone that's just struggling. It's just your habits you create and the decisions you make. That's it.
And as soon as you start to be honest with yourself, make these choices, spend that time. I don't know if you've sat here for 52 minutes listening to us because you think, I need to learn something and I want to listen to what these guys are talking about. Then it kind of then separates you straight away, that 95% and closer into that 5%. Yeah. And that's where you have to be to.
Honestly, Richard, I couldn't have listened to myself for 52 minutes. I'd be bored to tears.
But if you knew or somebody told you, listen to this and you'll learn something, then you would.
Yeah. For somebody to get this distance, they must have a deep down burning desire to change, to do something, they must be excited about their future, I would say. because this is the type of things I used to do. I used to sit through like weekend marathons online with Tony Robbins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We used to go to Unleash the Power Within events and, you know, leadership seminars, and there were weekend events. And they weren't starting it from 9 till 5. They were starting at like 8 o'clock in the morning. They were going till about 12 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm. That's
and you were kept totally engaged every single time. And that's how much you were putting in. You were putting that in for about 3 days. So you came back pumped up, but you were also like, you know, you're a bit lethargic as well at the same time because of that. But you were excited about your future. You had the desire to change, the motivation to build and to do something about your actions. And then 3 or 4 days later, it wore off. The only thing that's going to save you is the dream that you build.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to keep you going. That's going to keep that motivation. When external motivation wears off, what keeps you going within with your motivation is the dream you build and the future you're wanting. That drags you. You're either pushed by your circumstances or you're pulled by your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you are still with us at this point, I mean, thank you for joining us. I mean, hopefully you take something from what we talk about in the shows. From today's show, I think, remember, your wealth is not about luck. It's about your decisions and your discipline, like we spoke about, and that determination, Jim, like you say, is to keep pushing forward. And I think until you catch us the next time, think about, keep thinking bigger, keep thinking smarter, and really raise that bar. And that's what today was all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Okay, we'll leave it there today then, and you could join us next time as usual, Monday at 12:30. We will leave it there. Thanks for that, Jim.
Bye for now.